Hello everyone, welcome to my very small YouTube channel about knitting. My name is Isabelle, I am in France and I have 3 sons and now I have 3 cats. Some have said it's related, and I'm filming these videos in English because I miss my English so very much. I used to live in the United States, but that was over 32 years ago, and I don't have that many opportunities to be talking in English. So you are my excuse and my opportunity about each week to spend a few times, a few minutes, so less than an hour talking in English. Today it's going to be a video about my monthly checking about my yarn no-buy year, and you're going to be seeing that I've been good, but I have many questions. So if my accent and my hesitations and my mistakes do not bother you too much, please stay tuned. So first, what am I wearing? So I'm wearing the Aglia shawl by May UKP. I knit that last year. Yeah, I finished it in October 2022. And the Aglia shawl I knit it with a mystery box by Trellis. She made that one last summer 2022 for her birthday, so that's in July. And I was quite hesitant when I received the mystery box because I don't think yellow suits my carnation that much, my skin tone that well. But I've learned to love wearing it because at first I did not, but now I like very much finger in weight type of crescent shawls, as you can see here. And I kind of managed to place the green part closer to my face so that it fits me a bit better. And I love to wear that shawl with my well-loved Galan sweater by Marie-Amélie Designs. So Marie-Amélie stopped designing sometime a year and a half ago, and she made all of her pattern free on Ravelry. This one is free, you can get it. I like very much the lace design that's on the sweater. It's quite easy to make, and you knit inside out, so that all the reverse stockinette that is about everywhere on the sweater, all the body and the sleeves and everything, all the reverse stockinette, you knit it, and you knit the lace pattern inside out. It's quite easy. It's a very repetitive pattern. You just have to be careful about moving the lace columns, apart from each other. That's the only thing you have to be really careful about. And the yarn was Julie Asselin's yarn. It's the yarn recommended for the pattern. I extremely rarely knit something with the recommended yarn. And I started to knit Galan with another yarn I had in my stash, and I did not like at all the way it looked. So I said, okay, I need to try to knit with the recommended yarn. I don't have anything. So at the beginning of the pandemic, I ordered the second batch of Nurtured in the Courte Pointe colorway. And I have to say that on Marie-Amélie's pattern, at least the picture looks like much more gray. Maybe it's because it's on a blue-black background. In person, my own batch looks much more green, with a lot of little tones into it, with yellow and pinks and blues, little, not speckles, I think, not speckles. Let me get you again. Not speckles, but you see different little tones, very, I have here you are. Very subtle and subdued tones. And as it's more on the green side than on the gray side, I think it goes very well with my Aglia shawl. So this, I'm not used to seeing myself, and this is my right. You are going to be seeing in the right position when you see the video, but on my screen it's reversed. My right is on my left and my left is on my right, and it's very difficult for me because I'm used to filming videos for my day job. But when I have when I watch myself filming the video with the whatever software my university uses, my right is on my right, so it's more easy for me to be. I should not watch myself when I record that way now. Anyway, yeah, and I usually wear these two ones together. And I think the little lace here on the Aglia shawl echoes a bit of the lace on the sweater. I think they match together. And I try to place the green closer to me so that the yellow is not too close to me and does not make me too pale or too yellow. I hope so. Anyway. So, okay, let's move to my all my hesitations about my yarn no buy year. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about all my questions and my hesitations for my yarn no buy year. What you have to know is there are many difficulties with my mother. I could not film at all today. We are quite late in the evening. It's not my usual time to record. We still have a lot of sun today. We had a lot of sun after a huge storm, so I'm using the daylight to record, but my mind is all over the place. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that I haven't spent anything other than neons and neutrals from La Bien-Aimée that I bought. So I paid for it in January, if my memory serves me correctly. I'm gonna have to open my database for this year. Yeah, in January I received it. I'm not sure. I think it was at the beginning of March when she started to send her books. And so that's the same amount I have already talked about the other time, previously, 39 euros and 71 cents. I haven't spent anything since then, so I'm very happy. So what I'm going to be talking about today is how my want to make bundle has evolved. My queue hasn't evolved. So the way I've separated both bundles in Ravelry is the queue has patterns I have bought and I own because they were free, so I got them because they were free, or I bought them. And from January 2023, what I have started to do is my want to make 2023 bundles with all the patterns I see that I would have bought otherwise last year. That's what I was doing when a creator had a birthday or some kind of operation with a discount. I would buy all the patterns I had in my favorites from that designer. So at the end of the year, that was a lot of money spent on digital patterns. So I haven't bought any of them, and I'm playing with that want to make bundle where I add the pattern I think I would have bought without that new approach to my No Buy Year project. That was mainly for yarn, and that I have expanded also to digital patterns. So I have bought one book, so I have many patterns, new patterns to me to go through and browse and everything. And So we're going to go through that bundle, but please keep in mind that I have finished several things recently. I'll talk about it in another video. I've almost finished one other thing, so I'm considering what am I going to be knitting next. And I have two projects, but I have no patterns. I have the yarn for, but I have no patterns. Of course, the yarn is from my stash. So the first project, or the first questions I have, you may recall I got these two very beautiful skeins when I went with my mother last November to a fair where there were a lot of people selling, mostly selling fabric, and fabric to make bags and things, not many clothes, mostly fabric for bags and patterns for bags, and you would buy the pattern and the matching fabric. It was very expensive, but anyway, and there were 2 or 3 people selling yarn. So this yarn, Len Select, I've already talked about it. It's a finger in weight, 400 meters for 100 grams. It's superwash yarn, and the indie dyer is from the south of Bordeaux. I'm sure one of you will recognize that skein because you've asked me where you could get it. I contacted the dyer, and unfortunately she does one-of-a-kind type of dyes, and maybe she has a couple skeins, and once they are gone, they are gone. And I'm very happy because you've told me afterwards, a few weeks ago, that you went to another event somewhere in Europe, and then that you got a skein of yarn, or maybe more, I'm not sure, I recall, of this matching very deep purpley, burgundy, grape type of color. It's extremely deep and beautiful. I love it. And I got this pink and orange and a bit of red. So to me, it's a sunset more than a sunrise, but maybe it's a sunrise type of color. At least some kind of event when the sun is either going down or going up. And I thought these two ones were matching perfectly. So I want to knit with them. I want to use them in a project. So I think I have an idea, and I would like your advice. My second project is a bit more complicated, and all the data is on my phone, and my phone is used as a camera. I hope I will remember. Rosemary from Australia sent me these two very beautiful Polworth and silk skeins. So that's 200 grams. If memory serves me, it's about 384 meters per 100 grams. So I have a bit less than 800 meters. And I want to knit something with that. And at first I was thinking about a vest. And you'll see in the patterns from my either want to make or my queue, my want to make bundle or my queue, none of them, in my opinion, will allow me to knit a vest with that yarn. And at first I wanted to make a vest. I also thought about using some of the mohair that Rosemary sent me along with the yarn, and I was thinking, so these are wagtail, excuse me, the yarn here is by Tandai. Yes, I you remembered it before I got to my tab. So that's Tandai yarn from Australia, and she also sent me several skeins. So this one is 100 grams of lace mohair, and from Wagtail. So this one is a variegated blue to white to light blue color with deeper blue. So the smaller ones are 50 gram skeins, and another sky blue and a white. So these ones are, I think, in the same color family, and another 50 gram with the green, and this one maybe they have name, leaf green for the green. So this one, the white one, is 25 grams, and it's maybe natural. Yes, it's natural. The light blue is medium cyan. This one is dark cyan, and the variegated is variegated cyan. I love these blue colors. I love the green color, and I was thinking maybe use the variegated cyan color to hold with the white, or maybe not, because this one is extremely soft and is extremely very, very, very beautiful yarn. I'm not saying this one is not. Yes, they are all very beautiful yarns, and the white one can be knit by itself. It will be very nice. And since I have La Bien-Aimé's book, I'm thinking about using some of these also, some of these mohair, lace mohair, with maybe some patterns from neons and neutrals. So I'm quite certain I will find many ideas to use the mohair. No problem. My question is, what am I doing with this beautiful white Polworth yarn? I'm not sure I want to have it very close to my face, because what I have noticed is when I wear clear shirts, I would say white or light blue, as I use SPF year-round, SPF has the tendency to stain the shirts. So I'm not using light shirts any longer, because in the color it gets dark, and it's not something that I can remove with. I've tried several different products to remove stains, and it doesn't go away. And it's not skin stain. It's really a yellowish stain by the SPF, I think. And I would really hate staining that. So I'm not quite sure. I have maybe one idea that can go with that yarn. I'm all ears. Do I want to knit a scarf? I could knit a scarf with it. I do not know, because a scarf, I have scarves that are of lighter colors, and I do not have experimented stains on my scarf, so that might be okay. So yeah, these are the 2 or 3 batches of yarn: the white, the grape and sunset or sunrise, and the white or other ones can go with or without the mohair. These are the questions I have right now, and I've been thinking about these projects since the beginning of January. So I'm saying, okay, let's talk about it, and let me elaborate and talk about my questions, and maybe talking about my questions will help me find an answer. And if you have answers, or ideas I haven't had yet, you're more than welcome to share them with me. Okay, so I don't have you any longer on my computer. I'm going to go through my bundle, my want to make bundle on my screen. If it wants to come to me as a whole, I have 40 patterns today in that bundle. When I talked about it last time, I'm not sure I recall how many patterns I had, but I had less than that. Today I'm gonna show you the bundle. I have removed patterns, but I did not keep track of what I removed, so I need to get more organized for next time and maybe keep track of what I remove and why. And that's part of the process I was trying to experiment, that is place in this bundle all the patterns I would have liked to buy or I would have bought, and go through that list from time to time, maybe each month, and maybe curate and decide if I keep or not the pattern in the list. And if I have a project and I want to cast it on, I just buy it on the spot. Some projects are free, so you can already also have a look to it and download them if you are interested. Some of them are paid for patterns, so that's a disclaimer. When I'm going to be talking a pattern that is paid for, I haven't read through it. It's my impression from the pictures, the yarn they are using and everything, nothing more than that. So yes, there are some limitations. Talking about patterns, I have no possibility to be reading through. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the easy ones. There is one hat. Where are you? Yes, there is one hat that I liked a lot when I saw it, and I saw it, I think it was Caitlin from Caddy Jack Knits, who's knitting or who's finished now a sweater by a designer that is called Le Pull. Le Pull. I guess they are from France, if I recall. Maybe I do not recall correctly, but I think they are from France. And Le Pull, which means the sweater. And I'm not sure I really like the ruffles and everything on the sweater that Caitlin was knitting. But I browsed through these designers' patterns, and I found a hat that I like a lot. It's Maxine hat. So you use 2 strands of decay, so that's a strand, so that's a worsted weight. Maybe it could be a hat. 540 meters, so that's gonna be over a skein, and I guess that could be a. I mean, that maybe I could knit a hat with that. I had not thought about it. Please tell me what you think, and I may mix with. Let me get you back. I may mix with mohair. What would you think? The Maxine hat with mohair and the polo yarn. Maybe that's an idea. Okay, so let me continue. I had honestly not thought about that. What I like, and I thought about that hat for one of my sons, because one of my second son said, okay, I would like a hat. Okay, so I was looking for patterns, and when I saw this pattern, I said, okay, I think he would like it. And what I like, there are 2 lines, one that you can wear from one line that goes from right to left, and the other one goes front to back or back to front. So it makes a cross at the top of the head, and there is at least a double and maybe a triple brim. So, and it's in a red color. I think that's what appealed to me, and I did not think about making a hat with a white yarn. But I have to think that through, because if I hold it double, it calls for 540 meters, and I have 384, I think. So that might not be enough. I have to think it through. But if I place a mohair strand with it, maybe I can do that. So there is a bit of a crochet, there is a bit of a needle size. I think the cross on top may be crochet. If I haven't read through the pattern or not the description at all, because I had set it aside for later. So yes, maybe that hat for Theo, maybe that hat for me. So as spring is coming around, last week was heavy storm and gray and rain and rain and gray and wind, strong winds. I guess we broke the record of wind for the area. But spring is coming. You see, we have sun right now, but it's extremely cold, and I'm kind of I have fears for my fruit trees. But anyway, I've been looking for teas, and if you are on the northern hemisphere, you may be looking for teas too. And if you are in the southern hemisphere, maybe you have a nice fall or autumn season, and you can be looking for a tea. And I'm going to be talking about, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, new tea patterns that I have noticed. First, unfortunately, I'm afraid the offer may be off, or maybe not. You may have a few hours left to get the Clarice tea by Unit Toronto. The designer of this pattern is Claudia Quintanilla, and she's the owner and designer of Unit Toronto, and she's having a book also. I talked about it last week with Ellen Publishing. And she's very productive, and I like her style. And the Clarice tea, is free up to April 7th, and I think it's 1 minute before midnight on the 7th, and it may be Toronto time, so you may have time to watch my video, know about that, and buy the pattern before the offer ends. And I made also a community post so that to tell you that. But you have to be subscribed to Unit mailing list, because the code is in the mailing list. But I think it's well worth subscribing to the mailing list and giving maybe your details, because so far I have had the opportunity to get a lot of free patterns with special offers, and each pattern is usually $9. So yeah, the patterns are beautiful and are not that cheap if you buy them. So yeah, I'm quite happy I've been subscribed to their mailing list. Okay, so back to the Clarice tea. Clarice tea uses fingering yarn and mohair. So also I also had the Clarice tea in mind. It's short sleeves, but the smallest size is 800 meters of fingering, and I don't have enough with the 2 skeins, so it's out of the questions. And what I liked about the Clarice tea is that there are stripes, maybe a bit like the Rocket tea, stripes where the mohair is held alone, so it's a bit more see-through stripes, and the other part of the stripe is with the fingering, so it's not see-through. And the striping effect is more on the material and the way it looks than colors. And I've been quite afraid of stripes. I've extremely rarely, I have only one seaside type of t-shirt with stripes. I don't wear stripes because all the time my impression is that stripes make you look, or horizontal stripes make you look wider. Maybe just in my head, but the striping effect with the fabric, the way the fabric looks in the same tonal, in the same tones, I like this idea very much. And I was, before I looked at if I had enough, I was thinking maybe mix the two and have some of the mohair by itself, or use some of the other mohair to make the stripe, but I don't have enough. But anyway, I like this pattern. It's also in a very dusty rose, dusty pink color. It's very delicate, and I'm sure I'm gonna knit it at some point. The next t-shirt I have, so this is a top. A sleeveless t-shirt, more like a top. Another t-shirt is ambient. I think one of you suggested it to me, if I recall correctly. Ambient by Astrid Schramm. It's also a free pattern. Unfortunately, it's not size inclusive, but I've looked at the pattern and I think the math is not going to be very difficult, and also it's made with Aran. So if in the gauge, I'm not sure, yeah, it's 21 stitches. The gauge is 21 stitches. So if you knit with fingering, it's like 28. Maybe you can play with the gauge and a bit of math. But the t-shirt is, I like the way it looks. A small v-neck, not too deep, and also a scalloped end at the bottom that is quite beautiful, with a lace pattern, scalloped lace pattern that, and I think it's knit in the round and top down. So that means you can adjust the length provided you have enough. And it calls for 568 meters of Aran for a 34-inch bust, to 732 meters for 39-inch bust. So I guess I don't have enough with the white Polworth anyway, but the pattern is free. So have a look for yourself. You may decide if you want a pattern that is not fitting you and you want to make a bit of the math. But I think the scalloped bottom with the v-neck is something that is quite beautiful and feminine. And some of the samples you have, it's ribbed pattern. I forgot to say, Clarice, I think Clarice T, it's been published in June 2022, and the ambient, there is no date. So maybe we can find somewhere in the blog posts or the projects and everything some more informations about that. But anyway, yeah, you can have a look and decide if you like it or not. My two next patterns that I've seen since I last report on my Nubai year for yarn and now digital patterns is so two tops. The Casablanca top, which is not free, it's not very expensive, it's €4.25. Casablanca is by Christvik, I guess it's a username. It's in decay, so it's a top with sleeveless. It's a sleeveless top, and I'm looking for sleeveless tops. Not that I like to show my arms, I do not, but sleeveless tops to place as an undergarment type of an underwear type of garment. And this one I liked. It's very classical sleeveless top. It's quite cropped, but once again you can make it the length you want, because I guess it's top down too. And yes, there are many sizes, so you can adjust. And when there are many sizes, I like that, because when I'm knitting off gauge, I can always fall back on a larger size or a smaller size, and there is less math to adjust. And if you try it on as you, it's worked flat, excuse me. If you try it on as you need, or if you put in front of you as you need, you can decide if it's going the right direction for the size or not. So okay, Calablanca top. I said Casablanca, but it's not. It's Calablanca top. And the second one is a Streamline Tee. Streamline Tee is also from last year, August 2022. Is by Two of Wands, Alexandra Tavel. And this one is with worsted weight yarn, and I do have worsted weight yarn that I can dedicate to that tee, which has no, it's not a sleeveless. That means the line is not that way, leaving your shoulders uncovered. It's a tee because it's just the top of the shoulder that is covered with the tee. But what I like very much is the very beautiful design in front of it, a soft V-neck and a beautiful design in the front. So that's what I liked a lot. From XS to 4XL. So once again, if you're not knitting with worsted yarn and you want to knit with a lighter weight yarn, lots of different sizes to use as a way to avoid too many calculations. And there are quite a lot of projects, 26, not that many, but the sample is not on a skinny model, and I like the way the tee looks on her body. So yeah, and there is a faux seam on the side, and the front and back are detached from one another, and I like a little notch on the side, and I like that a lot. I think that's why I got into that one. I'm all over the place, so I'm gonna do scarves later on. In my head I had thought I'm gonna do the hat, the scarves, then the t-shirts, then the sweater, and then one designer that I saved a lot of pattern from her. Okay, so we went from the hat to the t-shirts. So let's go to the sweaters. Two sweaters that are not really gonna be for one of them is not going to be for my summer season, but some of you are going to go to a colder weather. So the first one is Monday Sweater by Anna and Heidi Pickles, and so it's maybe I like the orange sample, but what I liked, it's finger in weight, several sizes, XS to XL, so not a lot of sizes. When is it been published? They don't say it right now. But what I liked a lot is the shoulder, and the shoulder, the stripes or the ribbing that you can see on the collar kind of continues on the shoulder and continues on top of the sleeve, and maybe on the whole sleeve. I think it continues on the whole sleeve. And so maybe both the orange color and this line I liked a lot. These kind of details I liked a lot. So it's in fingering weight, 86 stitches gauge, and you need over 1,000 meters, 1,144 meters, 140 meters for the smallest size, and 1,710 meters for XL. And it's going to be an intermediate season type of sweater. If you can crop the sleeves or make short sleeves, and that's going to be a t-shirt, so with a beautiful detail. And so yes, please have a look. This one is for sale, $7 US, and I don't have it in my library, so I haven't had a look at the pattern itself. And the next sweater is a mohair sweater, mohair gallant sweater by Kadri on Ravelry, of course. And this sweater is extremely basic sweater with a mock neck, a color that holds up by itself. I love that. I love that. Other than that, it's a regular, no, not regular, it's a round yoke sweater. Very, very simple and very beautiful one. I liked a lot of projects, 140 projects. It's sorry, my cat is on the table and he wants to drink into my glass. $6.50 and 140 projects. So that a lot of projects. I like the cuffs. I like the bottom. It's in mohair. Mohair, which kind of weight? Lace and lace. 2 strands of lace. I think I have my lighter mohair that I bought in the Pyrenees would perfectly match. And so I haven't bought it, but this one I'm sure I'm going to be using with some of my mohair from the Pyrenees. Okay, next we're going to move to the designer. I've saved a lot of patterns from her because I hadn't, they were in my favorite, some of them were in my favorite, but I had to look through her store, and I think you can buy her patterns elsewhere rather than Ravelry if you don't use Ravelry. It's Teti Lutsak. I like what she does very much. She's a former biologist, and a lot of her inspiration is from botanical patterns because I guess she was in that field in biology. And so I'm not much into these botanical type of designs or at least color work. But I like when she has what she designs with stitch patterns. The best example is the Javelin's pullover. I haven't talked about it yet, I think, and I like the yoke very much. The construction, it's like a cathedral, and she has also a Javelin. Maybe I talk about it before because it's not right now here. She has a shawl also that I think it's extremely beautiful. So it's in worsted weight yarn. It's been published in May 2022. And there are 9 sizes. So I guess I'm not sure how she translates between XS and 4XL or something, but her sizing is size inclusive. You have a schematic in the pattern, and it's a yoke, a top-down yoke pattern, and it's extremely beautiful. It goes very well with the Javelin also shawl, and there are quite a bit of 153 projects as I talk about it today. And so you can have a look at how this sweater goes on different body sizes and body types, and I like this is what I like also in that sweater, but I like the cathedral type of yoke design, stitch design. The next one is Purpurea sweater. So all this series is going to be all by Teti. So maybe I'm not sure I said that the Javelin is a bit more recent. It's May 2022, last year. And so the Purpurea is from February 2022. Quite a bit of projects also. And this one has a stitch pattern all over. Maybe what appealed to me is a color that is quite close to that one. A darker burgundy color that she used to make it. But once again, you can browse through the different projects that people have made, from a very light to very dark color and very different body sizes and types. And this sweater fits about also everyone. And it's a bit like my Galan sweater with the lace. So the lace on the Galan moves. You move the lace and you increase the reverse stockinette in between the laces panels. In purpura, the lace increases in size along the sweater, and I think it's quite elegant. It's quite elegant, and it helps the sweater fit very different body sizes. And yeah, that's what I like with this sweater in particular. Also worsted weight yarn. And the two next sweaters are going to be the Irish Rover pullover. So this one is a bit older. It's from May 2021. It's knit with Aran weight yarn, and also a stitch pattern that is not going that is not going to be bigger and bigger or wider and wider, sort of an A-line type, giving an A-line, a visual A-line figure. So this one is just a straight stitch pattern that is very beautiful, and with a raglan type of construction. I think it's also a yoke type of, it's bottom up, but in the round and bottom up, so I guess you need the raglan after you've joined for the sleeves, or maybe you need the sleeves afterwards. I have no idea because I haven't bought it. It's €7. And yes, this one also I like, with a turtleneck. I'm always cold in my neck, so I guess that's why I really like that type of line. And the last sweater I want to talk about by Teti's is a mini pullover. This one is free. Unfortunately, it's only small XS or S sizes, but I guess as you have it free, you can go through it, and she says that it's not going to be difficult to adjust the stitch counts to bigger sizes. So it's free. You can have a look for yourself. And what I liked was the very small eyelet raglans that you have on the sweater, and it's a finer gauge. I think a lighter yarn. Yeah, it's fingering weight yarn, and it's more of it's a lighter sweater. It's very delicate, very simple, but I like the shoulder line that she's designed, and a wider neck, so for warmer weather, at least for me, and only one size or two sizes, but the smallest sizes, so you can have a look at the pattern. It's for you to decide whether you want to adjust it or not, or maybe it's your size. But I think it's not very difficult to adjust to larger sizes. I'm not sure why she did not do it. Anyway, so that's the last sweater by Teti, and the last pattern I want to be talking about by her is Rebellious Scarf. So it's a scarf, and the Rebellious Scarf is from November 2018, and it's in worsted weight. And I guess I'm kind of drawn to collecting pattern in worsted weight because I have quite a few skeins of worsted weight yarn that I want to be using, mainly my mohair, but not the fluffy mohair, the one that is threaded. So yes, I like this scarf, and I think I want to make it with that mohair. Once I've at least all reserved on it, the other pieces I want to make with that mohair. So Rebellious is worsted weight. You need between 450 or 500 meters, I guess. It's one size, so I guess it's an approximation. So that for that, and I like the way it's pointy in the end. And the motif is only on the end, if I recall correctly, because there is a couple pictures where the bulk of the scarf is stockinette, I guess, and on the motif is only on the lower ends, and it's a ribbed type of pattern. I haven't had a look at it, but of course, because I did not buy it yet, it's €5, so it's not very expensive. And yeah, I guess it's twisted rib, I guess, twist. It's in the techniques that are used, so maybe it's a twisted rib pattern at the bottom. And as the center is work in a stockinette, I guess you can adjust for the amount of yarn you have. And yeah, I think it's a very elegant scarf. Okay, next 3-4 patterns, scarves. Theo has asked also for another scarf, and so I've been collecting also a few scarf patterns. I'm not sure I have yarn for that, but to have some ideas, and some of them are free, and I liked very much. The first one is the asymmetrical wrap by Pearl Soho, so it's free. You can have a look at it. It's from July 2019. It's knit with a sports weight yarn, but of course a scarf you can knit at any gauge, really, without many adjustments. It's just going to be smaller or bigger, and it requires 451 meters of yarn, so I have enough. And I like this asymmetrical scarf because it has a very particular shape. It has a point that is a rapid either increase or decrease. I haven't read the pattern. A point at one end, and then an elongated pointy other end. So as it's asymmetric, the way it's shown, you wear one point either in the front or on the side, and you wrap it around with a longer end, and you can tie it or just tuck it under. It's with a red, very appealing red color, and there are 38 projects, not that many projects, with very different colors and very different yarns. Some people have placed the stitched pattern on the scarf, and you can play with that, and with a free pattern. I like that because you can have a look and decide for yourself if this pattern is good for you or not. The next one is also by Pearl Soho. It's from this January 2023. I had seen it. It was in my favorites, but not in my want to make bundle. But since then, it's a scarf, so it's a straight scarf with a lace motif. The lace motif doesn't look that complicated, and it's with a dark color, so it's with a lace yarn weight and 37 stitches gauge. So yeah, it's lace, but there are two sizes, and one size has a smaller, less wide size. So if you knit with fingering or even sports weight, you're gonna have most probably the dimension closer to the large size. So it's quite versatile. You can adjust to what you have. And the lace motif is really nice. It's a dark color, and I'm not sure I want to knit a lace scarf in a dark color because I think you lose the lace definition. But I liked very much the lace motif, the way they show it. And there is one project that has a picture of the lace motif on a light color. I'm not sure I can show the picture because it's not mine or Pearl Soho's, but I guess you can go to the pattern page and have a look at this project, and the lace motif is really, really nice. So that's why I liked about this scarf. The lace motif really appealed to me. And the third scarf by Pearl Soho is the soiree scarf. as I'm talking about it, I guess I talked about it last time. I may be mistaken, but I'm not sure. Anyway, the soirée scarf is that type of small scarves you can have. It's quite trendy right now, the small scarves, and Pearl Soho has several patterns for small scarves. It's from March 2023. It's knit with fingering weight, 466 meters. And so only one skein of that one would be enough. I'm always trying to find a pattern for the white Polwas yarn. And what I liked is that these little scarves, so it's an elongated with two little pointy ends, but you have also two little triangular parts, so you can either just tuck one triangular part and have just a bigger triangle here, or fold it in half and have a smaller one. So once again, quite a versatile pattern, and an easy pattern to adjust to your yarn weight, to the yarn you already own. And the fourth and last shawl pattern I have here, so it's a shawl, it's not a scarf, is the Great Ocean Road Shawl by Jonah Booth. And so this one is for £3 and 50 pennies, I guess. So it's in my library, so I guess there was a code at some point to get it for free. And what I liked about this shawl is, once again, the shape. It's a very elongated, it's not a crescent, it's a bit like this one, a small pointy end on one side and a bit longer end on the other side, very elongated. It's with fingering weight. And I liked quite a bit. I'm sorry, you may hear my computer fans. I hope you don't hear it. If you do, we are gonna have to wait for the fans to get more quiet, or I will interrupt and see which is consuming either my CPU or something. But when you have a look at it, there are many different projects with variegated yarns, but more subdued colors, not a heavy colored and variegated yarn. And I like this type of shape. So yeah, this one made it into my want to make bundle. Okay, I had to interrupt and wait for my CPU to come, or the fans to come down. There were two processes that were using quite a bit of my power, both the navigator and the movie recording process. So I interrupted both and waited a few seconds, and it's all coming down now nicely. Okay, so it's gonna be, I was thinking I wanted to make it quick, and I will explain to you afterwards if I place a bit of a life update. Anyway, so the last thing I want to be talking about, because I guess you understood that I'm very undecided about what to do with Polworth yarn. For the yarn by Lens Select, let me get you back with me. So for the yarn with by Lens Select, the very dark burgundy purplish one, and the sunset or sunrise yarn, I have one idea. The idea is the Batad pattern. I have the pattern by Stephen West, and I've seen in the pattern samples or the projects that people have made, I've seen many different ones. There are a lot of projects. So there are 1,204 different projects. So much room for inspiration. And I think I would make the ridges with the dark gray purplish color, and I would make the short rows with the lighter color. the variegated lighter sunrise or sundown color. I have enough. I hesitate because these are quite bold colors, and will it make a very bold shawl? What do you think? This is what I want to cast on, but I'm not sure the combination of the colors will go well with the shawl design. If I cast it on, of course it won't be the wedges with the light color and the dark color in the short rows. I've seen shawls where either the short rows were light or dark. These are the ones that you see most, but you see the wedges a lot too, because it's very present in between the lighter color or the short rows sections. So I think I envision maybe the way Stephen West had designed the pattern, the wedges with the darker color and the short rows with the pink and orange and red type of colors. Would it be too strong and too present of a shawl? And at the same way, these are strong colors. These are not subdued colors. These are very strong and in your face colors. So of course, if I need something with them, it's going to be strong and in your face. And the sample Stephen West has made is with black and gray. And maybe I'm too influenced by this image, and I don't know if this is going to be okay. Maybe by next time I will have casted on this pattern. But so I'm basically asking two questions. I'm not asking you for approval or anything. Of course, I cast on what I want. Yes, but what do you think? I'm so hesitant. It's not usual for me to not know what to do, but I think it's because my mind is about everywhere. So would you cast on the battered with these two colors? Do you think it would be okay? I think it would be okay. What do you think? So first tell me down below what you think about the battered choice for this color combination. And second, please tell me down below if you have any ideas. And Rosemary, if you do, watch the video. Once again, what would you like? And I know I'm not asking you. I know it's my choice. What do you think? And what you all do you think about these two beautiful skeins? I may end up knitting a shawl or a scarf with that. I have to be careful because the sun is coming from behind me now. It's very late. And yeah, what do you think? Or would you have any idea? Would you have any pattern idea for these two skeins? And maybe with the mohair or not. But anyway, my next cast on, I want to be either one of them or both of them. So yeah, that's it for today. All of my questions, all of my rambles, all of my thoughts, all of my hesitations. And I'm going to move to give you a bit of life update. And but if you're not at all interested into my life, you may stop right now. And I thank you very much for spending that much time with me. And I hope I will see you next time. Okay, so life update. My mind is all over the place. It's very late. I'm not used to at that time. I usually have had my dinner already, and I'm moving towards going to bed. Not right now, but knitting and relaxing before I go to bed. Two things are colliding. My mother's being taken care of by the department of the people who are major, not minor, but under protection, so that's good. I had the contact with the lady who was appointed by the judge. We are getting along very well, and I am extremely happy with that. So that's a huge relief. Thing is that, of course, as she's now responsible in front of the law and the judge about what's happening to my mother, she takes over all of her assets and bank accounts and everything. I knew that, and I'm perfectly fine with that. There was one glitch, but one glitch with an 85.5 years old person who's lost her cognitive functions and most of her memory. It's one glitch for you, and it's a huge story for her. So what's happening, that the lady who's taking care of her now, so she had the checkbook destroyed because she should be the only one making any expenses, or at least she has to approve all the expenses from her accounts, as she's responsible for that. So her checkbook was destroyed. My mother was very, very uneasy with that. She was very sad. So it took me a week to get her through that, and saying that we do not, at least in France, it's very rare right now that we are using checks. So you can pay with your bank, your card, with your Visa card, with and this person, the lady, is gonna make bank. I'm not sure how you call that. So payment from bank to bank. I will write the name under. It escapes me right now, but she's gonna be paying everyone. And so, for example, tomorrow the hairdresser comes to see my mother, and the hairdresser who's going. She has no hair salon. She goes from in people's houses, and so she's used to be paying that way, and so there was no problem. I got her bank information, gave it to the lady, and everything is fine. The person who takes care of a yard and lawn, same way. That's all fine, and she will have. And this is the glitch, a credit card where she can spend so much money per week. And we have discussed about the amount with the lady, and I had said maybe we can go for a month and see if it's okay, if she needs more, if she needs less, whatever. Thing is, the bank was overzealous, and rather than waiting for this new card to be available and for the lady to come and pick up the card at the bank and give it to my mother with the codes and everything, the bank so ordered the new card, but disabled, stopped the one she currently have, or she currently has. So no checkbook, no credit card. She cannot take any money in the machines. She cannot pay for anything. It was a huge thing. So we arranged for her to go to the bank and get some cash for the week, and also for the week after. But in France, we rarely pay with cash. I'm not sure how it is right now in the US or in other parts of the world. That was what was one thing that I thought was very different when I arrived. Checks are okay about everywhere in France, when in the US, at least, checks are so not used, or very, very, very little used, or just in your area. And we pay a lot with credit cards, mostly, almost never with cash. And with the pandemic, there was a functionality where you can pay just putting your card on the device, and they increased to 50 euros per payment. And they increased also the limit of the number of payment, or the number of payment you can make that way in a week. And your bank also adjusts the number of payment you can make that way without giving the code in a week, and the amount of money you can spend. And I guess it depends on the type of card and the type of account you have. But anyway, I almost never carry any cash any longer. I pay everything with my card. And in the grocery stores and everything, I guess you can still pay with cash, but mostly people pay with card, so it's going to be a bit complicated. And the next glitch on top of that is that the lady, it's Easter break right now in France, but all the areas do not have the same break. So my own break is 2 weeks from now, but in this area where my mother lives, the break is next week, and the lady goes on vacation. She goes abroad. So it's been very difficult, on top of a difficult week, or in the difficult period, because you may have heard once again, today we're on the 6th of April. Another huge day for protests. Even the small village where my mother lives was blocked this morning. There are less than 10,000 people in the village. Of course, it's the biggest town around the area, but it's 10,000 people. It was blocked this morning. So she was, how am I going to go to the bank? I have only 5 euros in my purse. Okay, so she could manage to go to the bank, but there were huge protests. My university is closed down once again. So we had the notice ahead. We kind of, said it's not really nice to wait after the start of the classes that morning to say we can't open. So they closed it down yesterday, so that's nice. We could arrange and everything, but I have very late classes, a lot of classes that go in between my usual time, because some of them could not take place. Some of them have to be moved because we are moving into the exam season, and some students, there is no other way for them other than to have that exam in that room at that time, but it's when I'm teaching, so all the schedule is upside down, and I have no time. My time is gone. When I haven't been feeling that way for quite a long time, since I was once again vice president. I haven't been feeling that way since that time. So I'm very stressed out. I miss many things. I think, the sun, it's late. I never film that way, so I'm not sure how the light is gonna be. Okay, if I'm like that way, I guess it's gonna be better. And it's very late. I hope. So we are on a Thursday. I usually make my videos live on Fridays. It's really late. I'm not sure I will have time to edit and post it. And tomorrow morning I teach from 8 to noon. So maybe I will have time, and I have lunch with the colleague after that, and we have to work together. So I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. Maybe it's going to be posted a bit later on, maybe on Saturday, if I have enough time to edit or not. Anyway, I've had enough time to record, so that's one thing. And tonight I may have some time to edit, but not enough time to edit the whole video. So we'll see how it goes. And we're gonna be taking it one day at a time, one stitch at a time. And I do hope you can manage to find joy and happiness in your life, because right now I really have to dig quite deep into myself to be feeling joy and happiness. I've been doing some meditation, and it helps me a lot. And even if it's sometimes 5-10 minutes meditation at a time, It's really helpful, and I've been knitting quite a lot. I could knit in the evening. Now that it's a daylight saving, so we have a bit more light in the evening. And when I'm not filming that late, I'm not having the light in front of the camera. Anyway, yeah, I thank you a lot for being here with me. Every time you comment down below, I know you're here without commenting, of course, but every time you comment, every time I see there are likes, it makes me so very happy. So you are not the one making me happy, but you are contributing to my overall happiness. And I thank you a lot for being here with me. I thank you very much. If you are willing to comment down below and help me decide and help me move forward into my process of thoughts, I do hope you manage to find joy and happiness, and that your knitting brings you joy and happiness into your life. And I will see you next time.